The Missouri National Guard one-on-one. Missouri National Guard, always ready, always there.
All right, Mizzou big winners down in Georgia last week, getting ready to host Florida to kick off a three-game homestand this week at Faurot Field. We're joined by head coach Gary Pinkel. And Coach, big win down in Georgia, but as you told me after the game, that your team felt like they were ready to go, and they were not surprised by the fact they were able to go down there and get the job done at Sanford Stadium.
Well, I think that just the attitude of the players is such that it'll go down as a great win. There's no question about it, because it's very difficult for anybody to win down there any year. But our players were determined, and I think it showed up in the third and the fourth quarter. As we battled through the momentum that they got in the third quarter to finish against a really good football team. So I was pleased with that. I think we're excited about the victory, but yet obviously we got a couple tough games coming up, about 6 more.
Florida coming up this week. Hope to see all of you out there at Faurot Field. You gave an update on James Franklin to fans who were able to go to the quarterback club meeting here in Columbia on Monday, and just let us know what the latest is on him.
He has a shoulder sprain, and it's about 3 to 5 weeks. We'll just kind of see where it goes from that point, and that's really he'll start rehab. And obviously it's very difficult for him. It was a contrast of emotions in that locker room after that victory, because it was very emotional. Anytime you win, it's emotional, but certainly that game was for the reason you mentioned. But yet, James was there and he was enjoying the victory. But we were all felt so much for him emotionally, as he's having one of the best years of any quarterback we've ever had here, and getting another injury. Comparing to what happened last year.
So now the offense will turn to Matty Mock to fill in at quarterback, and kind of what's the process with him this week to get him up to speed and to craft a game plan that you and the coaches and he are all comfortable with to try to beat Florida?
Well, we're going to just run our offense, so that's what we're going to do. So that takes care of that. I mean, we're not going to change things that we do. They're similar quarterbacks in a lot of ways. They're certainly different, as all quarterbacks are. But I think he's he'll do fine. The thing about him is he's got an experienced offensive line in front of him, intact, and playing well and competing well. And certainly the wide receivers, tight ends are impact players too. So he's got a good supporting cast. And our big thing is just go out and just focus on playing your best football, and I think he'll do fine.
Defensively, I mean, we saw it time and time again against Georgia. This continues to be one of the toughest defenses in the SEC, and Kentrell Brothers was named the SEC Defensive Player in the Week. You got quite a streak going with the conference honoring your guys after big games here as we've gotten into league play.
Well, it's turnovers are so important, and Kentrell had that one interception at the end which sealed it. But we had another interception, 2 other fumbles, and a fumble recovery with Michael. And so really it's really neat to see these guys. It's almost getting contagious a little bit, turnovers, and hopefully it continues. Everybody works on them every year. We always work, but after a while they expect them. And I think that's something. And we've been a really good red zone defense. We've forced a lot of people to field goals, and that has really helped us.
All right, let's talk about Florida this week. That was a tough, hard-fought game down at the Swamp last year. They, of course, won it 14-7, but you were in it the whole way. And what do you see this year as you size up the Gators?
Well, it's also really difficult to score points again. And if you look at what they've done, they've lost a lot of players. I expected them to kind of have a little bit of drop-off, but Coach Muschamp does such a great job at Florida. And they just have a system and a scheme in place. They plug their players in, and they're playing great defense again. I mean, as good as anywhere in the country. Offensively, they lost their starting quarterback also, so they certainly understand what we're going through as we understand what they've gone through in the transition there. But they got good athletes. Shoot, they recruited well, and it'll be a very difficult game.
And finally, we mentioned at the top of this interview, it is the start of a 3-game homestand. You got Florida followed by South Carolina and Tennessee. How excited are you and your players to get back home and see what we hope are some great crowds the next few weeks?
Well, we'll have great crowds. We'll sell out. I think our fans, as I mentioned, I was on the radio right after the game and was talking about how that environment was down in Atlanta. But I also, at University of Georgia. But I also, we've had the same, we got great, our students and our fans, they're going to wear their gold, and they just go crazy, and that's certainly, that's what Mizzou fans do, and I know they're excited about it too, and we're excited about having them.
Well, we can't wait to see that packed house. It's Saturday, 11:20, right here at Faurot Field. You'll get to see your Missouri Tigers take on the Florida Gators. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Head coach Gary Pinkel, we'll see you Saturday at the Zoo when Mizzou takes on Florida.